Again, no need to adjust your sets or your screens. 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 You know, I was doing that thing that begins with T. Masturbating? Oh, there is a T in it. No, come on, kids, you're smarter than that. I was doing some thinking. You know, when I spout off at the mouth about this, that, and the other thing about, people observing and people being so antisocial and, the men and women factors and social distancing and all, we practice social distancing every day. Long before this COVID-19, which will come back as a sequel as COVID-20. You can quote me on that. But no, all cynicism aside. When I used to be a fitness nut and hitting the gyms, 4 or 5 days a week and, just ripping it all up, man, not too long ago, which I may get back into that circle again, but it will, if it happens, it's no surprise that I'll have, someone with me doing it, because we all need our muse and we all need our levels of motivation. A painter can't paint without a canvas and usually an easel, but right. So anywho, when I would make all these observations and spout off about this, that, and the other thing in recent years, I'm kind of going back in my mind, like, even at the gym, I wouldn't notice girls looking at boys and women looking at men. Maybe a little girls looking at girls and women looking at women, but certainly no interactions if they weren't with said person or if they were working out alone like myself. It was always very compartmentalized and, in, do my thing, get out. But then I started thinking, wait a minute, why aren't people looking at each other in the gym? I mean, if there's any place to compare, to evaluate, to people watch, certainly it would be in a gym, right? I mean, that's just a no-brainer. But then I started thinking, well, why wasn't that happening? Because I would work out alone. But here's the things that I wouldn't do that most did. I would never, ever have my cell phone on me during my workout, so I wasn't looking at my cell phone screen. Or I didn't have my tablet with me, so I wouldn't be looking at my tablet screen. And when I was on the treadmills, out in front of everybody, up above the people was 8, 9, 10 televisions with, different programming on, with no sound, but again, more screens. Now, call me a dot connector or a conspiracy theorist or someone that's just reading way too much into it. Why do we have all these bleeping screens before us? Same thing happens when you go into a bar or a restaurant. These things that subdivide us, that draw our attention away from the general milieu, the person that's sitting across from you in the booth while eating. I'm too busy paying attention to the screens up above and behind her, or him, or whoever the case may be, to see what's going on with world events, or usually sports. Well, now we don't have sports anymore because of COVID. I haven't watched a sporting event since the freaking Super Bowl, first week of February. That's 4.5 months ago. Is my life better? Maybe in some ways. It just gives me more time to observe. But what I see is a steady increase of how people have their eyes and their attention completely buried in their screens, not each other. So if you're at the gym and you've got all these different body shapes and sizes and ages, usually wearing minimal clothing because you don't want to really, work out in a 3-piece suit, Right. Why wouldn't we be looking at each other and comparing? Oh, wow, look at her. Makes me want to work out harder. Oh, look at him. He is just like really getting it. And that's nice. You don't see that on the street every day. Well, you don't see it fucking anywhere when you got your face buried in a screen. Can I get an amen? Thank you. Do you ever stop to think that maybe the powers that be want to keep us separated? Exactly. We have been socially distancing ourselves for years. We're moving on for decades. So when something like COVID comes along, 6 feet from each other, social distancing, masks, all this other stuff, maybe that's part of the reason why we have so willingly bought into it, is because in a way, folks, we've been doing it kind of all along for the last 20 years, at least 15. Since we can carry our computers around in our hand, right? Yeah. So it's not much more that the ones who govern us and control us and try to own us, hey, let's just add a little bit more. Let's see how much resistance we get. We get none. Or virtually none. And the powers that be look at each other and do the dual high fives and go, yes! We've got this. We own them. Right? Gives you something to think about, doesn't it? Just observations from, the professor. But it's so true. Everywhere we go, we are indoctrinated with screens, either by our own choosing or ones that are put free of charge in front of us. So like I said, how can we go to a Vasa or Planet Fitness or EOS Fitness, formerly, what the hell is the name of the goddamn thing? See, it's already starting to fade. Gold's Gym. Thank you. To a room full of people sweating and toiling and working out and doing their thing and different levels of fitness and age and outfits, and we don't pay any fucking attention to them. It's like I said, used to be, I'd get out of a workout, put on some jeans, rinse myself off. I might still be wearing my wife beater or something, and I'd hit the grocery store with my cart, pick up the few things, which is what a bachelor does if he wants to, you lie, you gonna feed me? Yeah, I'm gonna feed you, motherfucker. But no, yeah. And women would either not look at me or look through me. And I would notice that I would get more looks of like, who the hell do you think you are? Looks, without a word being spoken, than, wow. That's a good-looking guy. He's taking care of himself. Cool. It's nice to see. Yep. Because we're being programmed, people. Wake up. What is that? Is that coffee? Kind of smells like reality. Maybe it's reality coffee. But that's the truth, people. That's how they're winning. They're controlling us through our screens. You don't need to see my face right now. You know what it looks like. I don't need to sit here and go, hi there, without my shirt on. No. Hear what I'm saying. This is how they're winning. We are so looking for the distraction from one another that consciously or subconsciously, they got us by the tits of the balls. We're done. And from a guy who just doesn't buy into the manias, who's sober and who's single and who has been extremely observant since birth, I'm here to tell you what I'm saying isn't a matter of opinion. It's a fact. Have a great weekend, people. And I love you. Bye-bye.